Two more items on this session, and after that we go to the breakouts. Hiske?
Let's move on to Micheal Bradshaw, Global Practice Leader for Applications, Data and AI at Kyndryl.
Micheal. Micheal, welcome here on stage with us. You're going to talk about leveraging Kyndryl's IT transformation experience to customer drive success.
That's right.
Wow, and that in 14, 15 minutes max? Is that possible?
Absolutely.
Of course you can do it.
We'll stay on time and on budget.
Good luck.
Thank you. So we'll start off with the, this is kind of the who am I. I am now in a commercial role, so you see my applications, data, and AI title. However, prior to that, July 1st, I was one of you. I was a CIO. I'm a career enterprise IT person. I've never sold anything in my life. I've never consulted anything in my life. This is my no good deed goes unpunished, and you're going to hear my story as to the good deed and why I'm now asked to do commercial work. The other part of this, I'll thank the communications team for being very generous in saying 30+ years. That prevented us from having to use a 4 somewhere in there. So I've been around the block. I've been in multiple industries, technology, aerospace, defense, media, and entertainment. So I have a lot of empathy for the challenges. And I'm going to move to my next slide, which is a call to action. Well, a little bit about Kyndryl first, and then the call to action. So who is Kyndryl? Most people don't know who Kyndryl is. We are the largest managed infrastructure services provider company in the world. If you ride a plane, if you drive a car, if you have money in a bank, we more likely than not are running those mission-critical systems behind those companies. We have over 75,000 people around the world. We run in 66 different countries. We're very focused on making sure our practitioners are credentialed, they know what they're doing. And I put the SAP stats on here because one of the application areas that I'm very focused on, as I said to the SAP crew out in the lobby, is I'm very interested in helping our SAP customers deal with the situation they have to modernize their applications ecosystem. So if you've got SAP and you want to talk afterward, please see me. Moving on, the call to action. We published a readiness report about 4 weeks ago. Now, this readiness report, we interviewed over 3,200 C-suites, so technology, CFOs, COOs. This was across 18 countries, 25 different industries. So we will iterate through the results of this as we continue to evolve the readiness assessment to then let us get better views by country and by industry. So if you were in a particular industry, we will tailor the views to be able to have conversations with you. But the key takeaway, and this won't translate here potentially in the Netherlands, but in the US, there's an author, Garrison Keillor, and he famously writes about a town, Lake Wobegon. And in Lake Wobegon, all the children are above average. So part of our paradox that we discovered is of these leaders, 90%, believed that their IT was in best-of-class kind of shape. However, when you asked them if they were ready to face the risks, as you heard Palo Alto and Zscaler talk about the cyber risks, for example, only 29% thought they were ready for the risks. And then when you get very specific to like the IT infrastructure, only 39%. So the paradox is people believe they're doing the right things. However, when you ask them very seriously to consider the risks that they have to handle as an enterprise, they will admit we're not where we think we need to be. So that's the paradox and that's the challenge. And I want to take you through our own case study of how we addressed it. And I'll say what you've been hearing from everybody about simplification. I love the creative destruction phrase that was used in the opening video. Because my challenge to all of you is we cannot keep doing things as IT professionals the same way we've been doing them for the last several decades. To talk about transformation efforts that are using scales of 5 years and 10 years, I mean, you just saw from the chart, the disruption is going to happen. If we continue to do things the same way we've been doing them, we will not keep pace, we will not position our enterprises to be where they need to be, and we have to do something different. So let me give you a case study of what we did ourselves as Kyndryl. So we were spun out of IBM in 2021. I joined the company to be the CIO, the inaugural CIO. I knew the individual that was going to be the CEO. We talked about his vision for the company. Frankly, if the vision was to just keep it doing what it was doing within IBM, I would have said, good luck to you, Martin. I wish you the best, and I would have stayed at NBC Universal. However, because of the vision and where we wanted to take this firm, I signed up to join. Now, joining that, we as a leadership team then had a very important decision to make. We had a transition service agreement with IBM. We could choose to stay in that transition service agreement, pay the cost as it transitions to commercial cost, deal with the systems that we were essentially born with as a company, or we could choose to use this as a burning platform as a critical moment for us. And as a leadership team, a C-suite, we decided to do that. So we had the courage, and this is where it's a challenge. Everything in my career, especially with peers that I know, you shy away from those really hard moments, those really tough decisions. And even senior leaders, C-suite members, will shy away from those really critical decisions. In fact, that was part of my journey with the C-suite. They were all on their different steps of the journey. The Chief Human Resource Officer, first conversation with her, she understood this, she bought into it, she was an active participant and partner. Our COO, I had to convince. So my role essentially was chief architect, and sometimes I describe it as cheerleader, to get the leadership team motivated, to make sure they understood what their responsibility was. I love the Daman comments earlier. This is not just about the technology. Frankly, it's more about human behavior and psychology and leadership than it is the technology. However, our challenge was to create the fit-for-purpose business environment that we needed. We knew what we were born with was not sufficient. This is a marketing number chart because they like things to end in zeros, so apologies for any marketers in the room. It was actually 1,829. Why? Because I count these kinds of things because they matter. These were actual applications, not spreadsheets, because sometimes people count spreadsheets as applications. The 360 is actually 359 as of November of last year. Now it's just above 300. So we're continuing to drive that simplification. The point here is we had a plan in terms of an objective to simplify. We went to a principles-based approach to drive platforms. What you've heard from a lot of the speakers earlier is really the concept of platforms. So there are a lot of similar patterns that you're hearing from these speakers. And it's leveraging platforms, it's moving away from bespoke and one-off kinds of things that frankly do not differentiate what you need for your business. I mean, think about it. Creating a contract, being able to know who your customer is, where their information is, being able to bill them, to collect the cash, to put money in your bank, to pay your employees, are those differentiating things? They are if you can't do them, right? But you don't need your own teams building your own applications to do that. You have companies out there like SAP, like Oracle, others, that are spending billions upon billions of dollars every year, just like the hyperscalers are investing in their platforms. Why do we as individual companies think that we can possibly keep up with that rate of investment? We can't. We absolutely can't. So part of our approach was lean into the platforms. We are platform biased, so data first. Data is the enterprise asset. Platform biased. We chose SAP, for example, for our business platform. No reason you can't choose a different one, but the way you now implement based on that choice. We used Workday for our people processes. We used Microsoft 365 for collaboration and ServiceNow for our support. We also made sure that we were going to cloud only. I started with 50 data centers. These applications were running, by the way, the parent company didn't even really know how many applications. They told us about 1,400. We turned over the couch cushions and found another 400 plus. But running in over 50 data centers globally was not what I needed. I had mainframes. I had 450 ZOS EVM instances. I didn't think that's what we needed to run this company. So cloud only, automation led, anything that can be done via scripting, via automation, using the chain of tools that we had. We delivered that. And zero trust. Because zero trust has to be built in from that. You don't overlay zero trust. You have to integrate that in from the get-go. So that's our journey. In terms of ROI, there's a lot of discussions here. We publicly talk about expecting this transformation to save us $200 to $300 million over time, $203 million over time. We actually have already attained that level of savings, and that's just within the IT space alone. Because this level of reduction, 80% reduction, also was accompanied by business simplification, orders of magnitude of simplification. That drives speed to process, that drives efficiency in our ecosystem that we're supporting. We're securing the data that's going around to support the decision making. When everybody is operating off of a common data platform, you no longer debate the data. The data is the data. Now you decide what to do with it. That's our story, and we've already attained the ROI for the investment. And then last, not to pretend that this all was perfect and smooth and we knew everything we were doing along the way. No, we learned a lot along the way. We had to have the buy-in from the C-suite. If it was not tops down, we knew the normal behavior within an organization was to resist change. A lot of focus on organizational change management, a lot of focus on, not that I'm a psychologist, but I understand how to motivate people. What's important to people, the what's in it for me kind of question, at every level in the organization. Complete transparency to the teams. October 2021, I had my first town hall with the team. I told them we were going on this mission. I didn't know how many applications we would be able to sunset and retire. But I knew it would be significant. I knew it would impact them, and we told them that we would communicate everything we were doing. We'd be fully transparent. They would be part of the journey. Why? Because I needed them to continue supporting the systems that had to support operations. Because primary for us was keeping an eye on the ball for operations. No operational disruption, and touch wood, we did that. And we were able to do that scale of migration of over 80% reduction in the applications. And we did it because we were able to focus on the enterprise architecture, step back, build a plan. Nobody likes to talk about enterprise architecture these days, but those of you that are practitioners know if you don't have a data architecture, if you don't have an applications architecture, you have no way to make decisions about what's really important. And you've got no way to now ground the business in the discussions that you have to have. And then one of the other speakers earlier talked about infrastructure. You have to think about what you're doing with the infrastructure. And frankly, we believe our place in understanding the infrastructure, running the mission-critical systems we do, positions us to help our customers have these conversations, understand their options, make the trades, and then get on the journey themselves. So that's our journey. We will have a breakout session later. There's as you can imagine, 5 principles. There's like 1,800 things under each of those 5 principles in terms of how you go execute. So please feel free to join or stop me in the hallway. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Micheal Bradshaw. Micheal, thanks again.